Good afternoon and welcome to today's professional development on the topic of Aristotle's educational philosophies and how they apply to helping students recover from the COVID gap. Let's start by covering Aristotle's philosophies of learning and education, which still serve as a framework in modern education and learning. Aristotle believed that learners come to know truth through combining empirical observations and rational contemplation. In other words, people acquire knowledge first through sensory experiences such as seeing, hearing, and touching. This provides the raw data that the mind uses to process and identify patterns and universal principles from those experiences. So through hands-on touching, through smelling, touching, hearing, we take in knowledge, and from that knowledge and contemplation, we're able to identify our own truths and realities and see the world through learning. So these philosophies become very relevant in our students' needs today. We have a multitude of students who are entering middle school and high school that truly are suffering from the COVID gap because during their primary educational years, they were sent home and schools were shut down. So second grade, third grade, fourth grade, when they're learning those foundational skills in mathematics, such as multiplication, complex addition, subtraction, borrowing, caroling, when they're learning the 5 types of paragraphs, using adjectives, understanding conjunctions and predicates, and where nouns should be and how to describe those nouns, verbs, everything is going on in those primary years. Well, these kids were all at home or trying to go to school online or remotely, and we all know that it did not work, especially because of everything else and the fear and the trauma that was going on in their lives at the time. So the best way for us to address that is by having them go back to some of those fundamental basics and do those hands-on activities, do project-based learning. Like Aristotle said, we need to be touching, feeling. We need our sensory experiences to help us with our learning. So through drawing, through writing, through those studying concepts so that they can put it together, students are able to get this holistic, multidisciplinary education, which will help them to put together all those pieces that they're missing. And one of the great things that I found that students can do is create a book, publish a book together. Through their teamwork, they're able to create a unified story because each student needs to participate in adding the next page in the book. So it creates this sense of community, and it helps them to explore language arts and the concepts of protagonists, antagonists, while also working on their abstract thinking and creating art, putting pictures to their pages and to their stories, and each student's picture is different, yet all telling the same story. So they get that interdisciplinary learning that they need to help them be able to expand their thinking, which is what Aristotle's philosophies were all about. So I'd really like to thank you guys for attending today's training, and I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.